Hello, welcome to my channel. Now today I'm starting a brand new fresh series called Boxing News. This is the first one. I may upload in a week's time with new news, or I may have to upload in a month's time. Whenever there's new big boxing news, I'm going to cover it on my channel. So let's get started. Last night on the 23rd of January, we had two massive cards announced. We got Boots versus Amantis. Now, this fight is for the IBF, WBA, and Ring Magazine welterweight titles. So let's start with Boots. His last fight was against Karen Chakadzian. Bro, these names are these European names just mess me up. He's 24-2. In the fight, Jared put on another dominating performance in Philadelphia, winning by unanimous decision. In the bout, Jared landed more punches in the 10 rounds. They had threw nearly the same amount of punches, but made Karen miss nearly 400, which is just insane and shows how good Jared is. Karen was knocked down in the 5th round with a good combination of body shots and uppercuts, and was then later deducted a point for holding. When it comes to the other guy's fight, he fought Gabriel Muster on the undercard of Canelo versus Mongaez. His opponent was 6-1 with 1 draw, undefeated. Amantis was showing good pressure, keeping Gabriel at bay with his jab, able to land good jabs throughout the guard, landing good combinations and having a great defense blocking the majority of the shots from Gabriel. Gabriel was aiming to the body a lot of the fight during the mid-rounds to slow down Amantis, but it just didn't work and Amantis won by unanimous decision. Now, in this boxing news, I won't go over who I'm going to predict because I'll save that for the predictions video, but this is a tough test for Jared Boots, but an even harder test for Amantis, if you know what I mean. So yeah, IBF, WBA, and Ring Magazine titles on the line. This is going to be a sick fight. Yeah, let's get on with the next event. So, the next event that just got announced last night was Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. It's finally announced. They were meant to fight in 2022, but now it's on. They also released 4 fights of the undercard that I'm going to be going over right now. First fight, we have Anthony Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur. This is going to be their 3rd fight fighting each other. In Yarde's last fight, he fought a guy called Ralph Wilkins. He was 17-1-0. In the first round, Yarde dropped Wilkins with a first punch he threw. It was a great right hand down the middle. But after the knockdown, it was a tough test and fight for Yarde as, the fight went the distance. Ralph was able to land some nice shots such as the uppercut. The jabs was popping his head back. However, Yarde did perform well, keeping Ralphs on the back foot, landing big combinations, making him lean into the ropes, and in the end, Anthony Yarde won by points decision. When it comes to Lyndon Arthur's last fight, he fought Liam Cameron, who was 23-5-0. But anyway, this fight took place on the 21st of June last year. Before the fight at the weigh-ins, Arthur weighed in above the championship limit. It was a very close fight. It was quite controversial over the internet. In the second round, Arthur was deducted a point for rabbit punches. Then later on in the fight, Liam Cameron was deducted a point for rabbit punches as well in the 6th round. Lyndon Arthur won via split decision. 2 judges gave, 95-93 to Arthur, 95-93 to Cameron. But for some reason, one of the judges gave Lyndon Arthur 97-91. Now, that is just ridiculous scoring. Since the whole of boxing history, we've always had problems with judging, and man, I don't know how the hell he got 97-91 from watching that fight, but bro's Stevie Wonder. But yeah, when it comes to this fight, this is their 3rd time meeting in the ring. Anthony Yarde won by KO the first time. Arthur won by split decision the 2nd time. So it's obviously going to be a close fight. It's going to be electric. The fight is happening in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm definitely going to this fight. We have massive names on this card, and also the main event. I've been waiting for this main event for years now, and the fact that we finally have it, it's just so exciting for the boxing scene. But yeah, let's go with the next fight. Next fight announced is Liam Smith versus Aaron McKenna. With Smith's last fight, he fought Eubank Jr., the main event, or half of the main event. It took place on the 2nd of September in 2023. So when it comes around to April 26th, when this fight takes place, he would have been out for a year and 8 months. That's crazy. In the first fight, Liam dominated him and then he won by around 4 KO. But however, in the rematch, it was just a totally different story. The table had dramatically flipped and Eubank put on a dominating performance. Eubank was landing more punches in every round. Eubank knocked him down in the 4th round with a really good uppercut, and then later on in the 10th with a combination. The shot selection of Eubank in this fight was just great, landing good combinations, and Smith just had no answers for Eubank in this fight. The fight ended in the 10th round. The ref just stepped in and called off the fight because Liam was just unresponsive, and he complained to the ref, but he just wasn't doing anything. But yeah, Eubank won by 10th round KO. In Aaron McKenna's last fight, he fought Jevony Estella, who was 14-0. This fight took place in the 15th of July 2024. In the 10th round, Aaron was landing many combinations, ripping the body and shots upstairs, and the ref just stepped in and waited for the fight. Estella was just unresponsive, wasn't throwing back. Yeah, that was it. This is going to be a good fight. Liam's coming back. Obviously, he's going to have major ring rust for not being in the ring for nearly 2 years when it comes back. But I'm excited to see Liam Smith back in the ring. Seeing Aaron McKenna get a good shot at the big leagues is exciting as well. But yeah, this fight's going to be entertaining, and let's go with the next fight. Next, we have Chris Smith versus Brandon Galanton. Now, with Smith's last fight, he fought Gilberto Ramirez. This fight took place on the 16th of November, on the Riyadh season Latino night. Smith was doing well in the first round, but Gilberto basically won the remaining rounds. Chris won round 1 and 10, I think, but other than that, Gilberto just absolutely smashed it. Throughout the fight, Gilberto was just really accurate with his shots and high volume pressure throughout. Ever since the second round, Ramirez had such a good momentum that it was just impossible for Chris to, derail. Gilberto Ramirez won via unanimous decision. However, the scorecards were a lot closer than it should have been. According to Sky, the viewers had scored the fight 119 to 110, whilst on the normal scorecards, it was like 116, 114. When it comes to Brandon Galanto, his last fight was against Alexei Igorov, which took place on the 7th of June 2024. It was a good fight and it was tough for them both. The majority of the bout was just both men fighting toe to toe. Brandon kept a good forward pressure, landing good combinations. In the 10th round, Alexei took a knee and the fight was waved off. Brandon Galanto won by 11th round decision. But yeah, this is going to be a tough test for Chris Smith to come back off. Obviously, he's coming off his first loss in his professional career. Obviously, he had a few titles, but he's lost that now to Gilbert Ramirez. But yeah, hopefully we get to see him bounce back against Brandon and get the win. But yeah, the next fight we have Vidal Riley versus Chevion Clark. Now, this is a huge fight in British boxing. Now, Vidal was meant to fight February 1st, but his opponent pulled out. Now we get him on the sick Riyadh card, but let's get on with it. Now, Vidal Riley's last fight took place on the 14th of November, fighting Dan Garber, who was 7-3, but it was a short notice opponent, and he was heavyweight as well, which is insane. In the first round, Vidal was showing good footwork, pressure, landing stinging combinations. For the 2 rounds, Dan was basically a punch bag, and just didn't give Vidal any trouble whatsoever. In the second round, after 2 rounds of Vidal just landing great combinations with no response, the ref stepped in and stopped the fight, and Vidal Riley won by second round TKO. With Clark, his last fight was against Leonardo Mosquet. I think I butchered that, but who cares? He's 12-0. This took place on the 14th of December, same day as Vidal, but it was in the Matchroom event, I'm pretty sure which was in Monaco. In the first round, Clark was hurt really badly by Leonardo, and it was dropped by a left hook. This was the first time Clark has been dropped in his whole entire career. After the knockdown, in the earlier rounds, Clark was doing well, as well as the end rounds as well, but in the middle, the majority of the rounds, Leonardo did really well for the rest of the fight and won by split decision. But yeah, Leonardo handed Clark his first loss and he lost his title. But yeah, with this fight, I'm very excited to see Vidal. Obviously, Vidal is just one of the guys, he's a legend in the game, and I'm excited to see what happens in this fight. I'm leaning towards Vidal, but let's go with the next fight. The main event, Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. Finally, it's happening. Obviously, the fight was meant to take place in 2022, but either way, who cares? The fight's finally happening 3 years later. Now, this fight is going to be going for the IBO World title. Now, when it comes to Benn's last fight, he fought Peter Dobson, who was 16-0. This fight took place on the 3rd of February 2024. In the beginning of the fight, Benn started really strong. Conor had a good jab throughout the fight and landing great power punches. Throughout the whole fight, there was never a moment where Conor was in trouble by Peter Dobson. He won by unanimous decision. When it comes to Chris Eubank's Eubanks Jr.'s last fight, he fought Kamil Szeremeta, who was 25-2-2. This took place at the 12th of October, which was on the undercard of Bivol versus Beterbiev. In the first round, Chris knocked down Kamil with a great 1-2. Throughout the fight, Eubank's uppercuts were just pure class. In the 6th round, he knocks him down again with a right hand, and then in the 7th round, he knocked him down twice with cracking body shots, and then the ref waved off the fight, meaning that Chris Eubank Jr. won via 7th round TKO. Now when it comes to Conor Benn, he's very hated in the scene, but I've been a fan of him for years, and I can't lie, I'm going to be rooting for him in this fight. I don't know, I like, Conor Benn, he's he's trying to promote, and he's trying to make beef and make it exciting, and I love his fight style. So, but either way, I'm just excited for this fight that is finally happening, and hopefully I can go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to watch this fight. But thank you for watching, like and subscribe. Tell me how this video was in the comments so I do more boxing news. My channel, Harvey MMA. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for watching. Take care. Peace.